My name is Loha Hashimi. I'm Senior Innovation Manager at INIDE, the event organizers. We are a small mobility and logistic company based in Barcelona. For the ones who are here, welcome again to our city. We are most of the time engaged in European projects, and we have the role of technology development. So most of the time we wear the hat of technology developers, but sometimes also in projects such as Harmony, we take that technology to the market. So we are transferring or we take the role of exploitation, dissemination, and communication managers or leads. The first panelist, by the way, before we start, I was wondering actually if you already know each other. Of course, we had a coffee break, a lunch break, but still I'm wondering if people actually who are in the conference and are sitting next to each other, they have had the chance actually to at least ask the name of the next person and also know actually where they are coming from. So while we are preparing actually the panel, just look at the person next to you, see if you know the person. If you know, fine. If you don't know the person, ask the name of the person. Don't be shy. Or if you're if you're far, just actually show your cards, badges. And that always actually helps to at least know the next person, right? Awesome. We have been also talking about demonstrations. And if you remember, we said that we had some demonstrations done in Harmony. And our next panel is actually about the cities, their experiences, the challenges they face, and also some policy recommendations, or actually if they have any recommendations for regulators on how regulators can come up with policies in order to facilitate the adoption of such technologies. So with myself, I've got Tariq Rooijen, Senior Project Manager at TNO, Transport and Mobility, who will moderate the session. And we will have three panelists, Odisseas Raptis, CEO of E-Trikala, George Fourtinas, UAV Analyst for the Future Mobility team at Oxfordshire Country Council, and Stefan Schimmel, Mobility Advisor at Municipality of Rotterdam. Hopefully I pronounced the names and surnames properly. I give the floor to you, Tariq. Welcome.
Thank you, Loa. Welcome at the panel discussion on the demonstrations that took place in the Harmony project. In Harmony, next to all the modeling activities, a few innovative transport modes have been piloted in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, E-Trikala in Greece, and Oxfordshire in the UK. And in this panel discussion, we will get to know everything about what happened at those sites, what we've learned, what the outcomes are, and what can we expect from these modes of transport in the future. As said by Loa, my name is Tariq Rooijen. I'm an EU Program Manager at TNO, Dutch Research Institute. I have here with me three experts that can tell us all about what happened at the different sites and these transport innovations. Odisseas, George, and Stefan. I think it's best if they introduce themselves by themselves. So, Stefan, can you tell us what you do in Rotterdam?
Hi, everyone. You can hear me. I work for the city of Rotterdam, and I was involved in the Harmony project and especially in the Rooijen demonstrator. We did a lot of things during the Rooijen demonstrator, so I have some notes with me, so you can ask everything to me. I know everything about the Rooijen demonstrator. And also my colleague Jos, he's involved also in Harmony. Unfortunately, he was not able to come here, but he was mainly involved in the logistic part. I was involved in the Rooijen part of Harmony from the city of Rotterdam.
Hello, I'm George Fourtinas. I'm the UAV analyst for Oxfordshire County Council. I've been dealing primarily with the UAV aspect of the Harmony project. So I have some information on how the project went through, and yeah, I'll pass it on to Odisseas.
Thank you. I'm Odisseas Raptis. I'm the CEO of the municipal enterprise E-Trikala SA, representing the municipality of Trikala. Trikala is a medium-sized city in the center of Greece, mainland. And for years, we're working with European projects, innovative and researching European projects, offering the city ground, and of course with Harmony the city air for, let's say, development of transportation and mobility.
Thank you. Let's go to the details of the demonstrations. Let's start with Rotterdam. Stefan, you, with your team, you organized in Rotterdam a pilot with a freight automated vehicle. You had a delivery robot running for a certain period that was extensively tested. Can you tell us how the robot worked and what did you research?
Yeah, the first plan was to test with the arrival van, an electric van for freight and personal transport within Rotterdam. But due to COVID restrictions, it was not able to test with a van. So we moved on to another demonstrator in Rotterdam, and that was a Rosie. So we moved from a van to a way more little kind of transport mode to a robot. And we also wanted to test the van on the public road, but now we tested it on the robot we tested on the closed area at the Future Mobility Park. It's a very innovative park in the western part of Rotterdam. And we test a lot of multiple traffic situations with Rosie, how it interacts within the traffic situations, on roundabouts, how does it react to intelligent traffic lights, pedestrians, does it overtake other pedestrians, and we test also with a lot of modalities like cars, cyclists, and pedestrians. So we did a lot of practical tests, and we have a lot of learning questions for in the future. To test more within the robot developments.
So in Oxfordshire, we had a drone and EV van trial in Milton Park with UCL and Rooijen, who managed the trial operation by providing and flying the drones, and Airbus with their UTM platform. Our trial had EV vans that were delivering a defibrillator, and showed that these technologies can increase the efficiency and speed of freight deliveries within Oxfordshire. So yeah.
Okay. In Trikala city is located in the middle of a flat area. The area around Trikala is a cultivating area. So there are small villages from 3 to 15 kilometers that belongs to the municipality of Trikala. So once we have been asked from the organizers of the Harmony what kind of test we would like to have there with drones, we thought that we have to go to a hard test. And the hard and tough, in a way, test considered for our side to be the medicaments. So I'm going to explain you, and we're going to show you a video today, how we managed to do that, and actually what lessons learned about, after that pilot that we ran in Trikala.
Can we start the video of Trikala?
Okay. So Trikala, I mean, yes, that's what's the video.
It works. Thank you for the video. I've been doing many pilots in my life in the European projects myself, and I know one thing that's for sure is that it never goes how you plan it, because it's innovation, and you learn the most new things by just doing, experience all the issues and barriers. So let's start with Rotterdam. What happened? How did the process go? What barriers did you experience and had to pass? And what did you learn from it?
Yeah, what I mentioned earlier. We had to move on to another demonstrator within Rotterdam. And also during the demonstrator, there was a provider of the robots. It was an American provider, and they want the robot back during the test. And then we had to have another robot. So another robot came from Turkey. So that was during the test. And also a barrier was the legislation in the Netherlands, that it's quite hard to test also this kind of new modalities on public road. We just tested the robot for just 1 day or half a day on public road, but it was super hard to do that. Mainly we tested on the closed area on the Future Mobility Park. So that was a main barrier for us to test on public road, because in the future you also want to know how the robot reacts on public roads in difficult traffic situations. So that's a future thing.
So the legislation was the main barrier for the robot?
Yeah.
Similarly, for the Oxfordshire trial, we had some difficulties with the legislation, but we also had similar problems with certain partners stopping wanting to be in the project or discontinuing help. So, yes.
Two major obstacles. Beginning the negotiation, first of all, we called the Union of Pharmacists, the local ones. And we said that we have to deliver medicaments. Where? They asked. I said to civilians living in the villages, that they do not have the service, the everyday service. And they said, no, it's impossible. And then the Pan-Hellenic Association of Pharmacists came to Trikala with an angry face, saying that all medicaments have to be delivered through the hands of a pharmacist. This is a law. And believe me, this is a European law. So we cannot throw or land a drone to my yard and deliver. I'm not talking for paracetamol or vitamins, for medicaments. So everything has to go through the hands of pharmacists. So we said, all right, we do not land on a yard, in the yard of the client, we go to the shop, because every village has at least one pharmacy shop. The second biggest obstacle was the route. Once we called the Greek Aviation Authority to ask for the permission, for their permission, to plan for the route, to take off and approach the village and land in the village, there it's the European law, and of course the Greek law, that the whole area that under the flight zone of a drone has to be isolated. And thanks God that our office, this office, is nearby the river, and thanks God that Trikala has the river, and we escaped the city, the rural environment through the river. But approaching a village, they said that you have to isolate the route under no people, no cars. So these were the big two obstacles that we faced to apply the technology and to apply the service.
And having done now having carried out now the first step with this innovative transport mode, how will the city continue with this mode? Do you see future possibilities in the city?
Yes, I mean, what we are thinking, and what we're thinking for a solution, and I think this is our proposal to the consortium. We cannot, according to the law that exists today, of course, we have declared, I mean, that will be, let's say, negotiated with the European community, but as we are running and we are living today, we think that the best way is outside villages to the, let's say, borders of a village, where normally it is free area and public area. We install there something like a container with lockers. The drone goes there, gives down the medicament or the parcel, and the client receives an SMS with a secret number, goes there, opens the locker and gets the medicament or the parcel. It's impossible to reach, I do repeat, as the law is today, it's impossible to reach the downtown of a city or of a village. So if we want that service, and why we are asking for a service like that in Trikala? The companies that are feeding with medicaments, the local pharmacies are let's say, they have a schedule of once or twice per week to visit every pharmacy. So this can give life, can save lives, can, let's say, assist and improve the standards of living of people that they need their medicaments. So they are coming to our depot, to our taking off place, they do deliver in a box, and that goes not to pharmacy, this is our opinion today, goes to this, let's say, lockers box, leave it there, and they go and get it from, I mean, even walking. It's a walking distance in between the, let's say, the center of a village and the suburbs of a village. That is our recommendation.
And
yeah, from a Rotterdam point of view, yeah, we are not a proponent, but not also not an opponent. So there are some limitations in energy and space efficiency if we look at the robot, but it contributes to the zero emission mobility, because in 2025 everything has to be emission free in the city of Rotterdam. We need some more commitment from the market. They also need do some tests with these kind of mobilities, new mobilities. Yeah, I think it supports the food package deliveries, also regarding the stuff shortage. I mean, it's a worldwide problem. There are less stuff everywhere. So I think these kind of new technologies will, it is a good solution for that. And our advice is to start in the suburbs, with not very many traffic, difficult traffic situations, and then go to the inner city, to the city center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Similar across, for Oxfordshire, we would like to keep it outside of city lines due to the safety reasons, and for us as a local authority, the safety of our citizens is paramount, but we also do not want to create problems for innovation and try to minimize the effect. So for us, we see that there's many opportunities for utilizing this technology, and we would like to help it move forward in a safe manner.
And do you already have plans at Oxfordshire County to have new tests or a new?
At the moment, no new tests. We are working to create a safe. So we're creating a detect and avoid system within Oxfordshire to help utilize UAVs within the area of Oxfordshire. So we're trying to help.
Yeah. And Stefan, you touched already on the market. Do you see a business case for the delivery robot now or in the future? What's your opinion on that?
A good question. I don't know what the price will be of a robot. I think that's a very important role for the market. But yeah, I don't know what the price is of the Rosie robot. It's quite expensive. So I don't know whether there is or there is a business case for that kind of companies.
Yeah. No. And George?
So for us, it's also the cost of vehicles at the onset.
Yeah.
Because at the start, when it's new technologies and innovative things, the price is increased because there's research behind it that needs to be funded and paid for. But I think that moving forward, as years progress, I think we will have the price reduction, and it will start moving towards business as usual.
Yeah, we are, I think, in a too early stage to say something about the business case.
For us, I think that the case and the pilot has proved that it is possible even today. In Greece, I don't know in other countries, but in Greece last month and after the crisis, the COVID situation, couriers are delivering to the neighborhoods or villages parcels through that way, through the small lockers. So what we need is, instead of a person to go and place there the merchandise. We need an automation as when the drone lands on the top of this locker, of this container, to accept the parcel and classify the parcel and send the SMS. I think this is very easy to be done, and I believe through this we prove that we can make the service. We can have the service from a rural environment, I mean from a city to the suburbs, or I'm not talking for occasions of disaster. For example, a couple of months before our test, it was a big flood in the area. There, of course, you take off and you get a cell phone and you get medicaments and you give to people that they have a need. We're talking for everyday service, and I think that we're very close, even with the rules that today are applied, to do that service.
Do you think for making progress with this kind of transport innovations, is it the legislation, the state of the technology, or the costs that are the main barrier at the moment?
So for us, it's probably a mix of all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Legislation could do more with easing up a little bit with the requirements that they're asking for. Cost is also a big factor, which reduces the amount that we can do. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I think it's also a combination in Rotterdam, but mainly also the number of tests. I think there are too few tests, for now. So we need to do a lot of more tests in the future.
For us, I mean, nowadays we are running small robots, not in the public streets, but on a main pedestrian street in our city, feeding the small mini markets and a few other shops. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, we have time and we need money, and the technology and the industry needs money to invest to go independently. At the same time, we are running autonomous vehicles for the last mile, for the improvement of the service for the last mile. Yes, we need money and technology has to be improved. But believe me, for drones and what you've seen, and with the system that overpasses the route difficulties, I think we are ready. And of course, in E-Trikala, we're open to test any kind of, let's say, trial for that. I think that we're very close to a commercial product through this idea of boxes on the suburbs of cities or small villages.
And I think it was a very helpful first step, and the Harmony project contributed to that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the logistic market has to further invest and do the research, or is it still these kind of EU projects or national subsidies that are really needed?
I think that it's up to the companies to start
Yeah.
moving a bit forward, because it's easy for us to innovate on the outside, but in order for things to become business as usual, I think... sorry. So in order for us to innovate, it would be easier, not easier, it's more a smarter decision for companies to start moving it forward into this domain and pushing it into business as usual for us.
And making the link with the modeling suite. The pilot tests, are they useful for the modeling suite? How do they contribute?
Yeah, what Michiel mentioned earlier in one of the presentations, it's mainly from the Mobi Hub to the destination. So it's not the last mile, but more the last yards to deliver groceries or packages from the Mobi Hub to the people.
Yeah, I believe we have to be positive on that side and say optimistic actually, and say yes. Even the difficulties that we are facing, we have to go ahead. And that's the European sense of all these projects. Yes, we have to go ahead.
I agree with both.
Are there some questions from the audience? Anything you want to know, more details about the demonstrations?
Maybe you need the microphone?
Robots.
No, they were mainly the same. Or yeah, there are a lot of maybe some minor specifications differences, but they are quite the same dimensions. So.
From the same company?
No, it was a different company, but the robot looks like the same. But some other specifications, like the height or the width, are maybe a little bit different, but they are quite similar to each other.
So the operations and it was very interesting what you saw, because you saw two different brands and you could
Yeah.
compare also the...
Yeah, for sure. We also tested before, it called actually Rosie 2.0, and the first Rosie we tested on the Erasmus University campus, but that was mainly focused on how do the people react to the robots. And the Rosie 2.0, it was related to the Harmony project, that was investigated how the robot reacts within different traffic situations. So mainly the second robot from the other provider, that was focusing on on the Future Mobility Park within different traffic situations.
And how did the users, in Rotterdam you did not have that many, no public in the Future Mobility Park, but in Oxfordshire and in E-Trikala, I saw in the pictures in the movies quite some audience. What were the reactions of the people on the street?
When we have to isolate the first village, and of course we have done it, we had personnel stopping the road, I mean not to circulate vehicles in front of the pharmacy, I mean, and all the road to approach it. Suddenly when a big issue, I mean it was a big drone, very noisy, when it started landing, people went out of their houses to see what is happening around. And when people were getting closer to the drone, we were afraid that you'd never know what can be happened. So that's why, I believe, we need years for the citizens to get used with that situation, that something is coming from there and is delivering life, actually, but something is coming from there. So that's why we do recommend just outside the villages, just outside the cities. We believe, I mean, that is no time for yet for going as mosquitoes over our, let's say, cities. And that's a question for the European community as well.
Yeah, and I think also one important next step of Rosie is also the public acceptance. It's also mentioned in the policy recommendations. But I think the next step is to investigate, how does the people react to the robots? I think that's one of the most important things.
But they did research that in the first period at the Erasmus University?
Yeah.
And how was the... how
some
did
numbers,
they play football with it, or was it...
40% disagreed, and the rest, 60% were positive against the use of a robot. But it was only on the campus, so that's quite different if you use it also on the public area.
In our city, they're playing with these small vehicles in the pedestrian street. People are stopping that. I mean, we've done everything, but we could not reach a travel speed over the walking speed because every kid or every, let's say, visitor to the pedestrian street were stopping that to realize if it stops or not. So that was a problem for today. Yes?
And then this was interaction with the public, but interaction with the infrastructure. Is it possible for the robot to talk with the traffic lights and?
Yeah, it has an onboard unit, so it can connect with the intelligent traffic lights. So yeah, in the near future, it is fully self-autonomous. So it also connected with traffic lights and with everything on the road.
True. I mean, yes, technology is sufficient. I mean, yes, they can do it. Even autonomous driving to pre-dedicated destinations. Not that I'm pressing the button from Barcelona and say I go to Valencia. I'm not sure that they can do that. But for, let's say, for the last mile, I believe the technology is confident today.
Yeah. And maybe one point to mention, the position of the robot is not sure yet. It is on the sidewalks or on the road. But in Rotterdam, we want to, there is a transition from 50 kilometers per hour to 30 kilometers per hour in the city center. So maybe we can move like cyclists and mopeds to the main roads, and we can move new technologies like shared mobility and also robots to the cycle road, because in the Netherlands we've got a lot of cyclist roads, as you know. So maybe it can move from the sidewalk to the cycle path.
Any more questions from the audience? No? Yeah, okay, then one final thing. When do you expect that we can see robots on the streets and drones in the air for commercial services? Just one year?
In the Netherlands, well, I think it takes a lot of time. There's no e-scooters also in the Netherlands. I mean, everywhere there are e-scooters, here in Barcelona as well, but in the Netherlands it's not allowed yet. So I think in 2040, 2050.
George, which year?
I also agree. Similarly, we need a lot of time. Sorry, always forget the microphone. So similar, I think around 2030 we'll be able to see the first steps of business moving into that sector. So
This Monday in Greece is a bank holiday, so Tuesday. We still have in front of us a lot of, let's say, technological, not only technological, but social way to go with. And we're feeling thankful to projects like Harmony. We're feeling thankful to projects from the European community to develop that, let's say, the systems. What we're doing as cities, we're offering the city. And thanks God that our mayors are open-minded and the civilians, they have accepted that the technology is assisting us, and in Trikala we can apply all this. Thank you from the name of the mayor of Trikala city, the Harmony, the project, for giving us that opportunity to participate and improve the technology.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all the valuable insights, and let's see when everything will happen. Okay.
Thank you.